Okay guys, decklist official start. Let's get this show on the road. This is what I like to call Jund Dino Journey. Jund. Yeah, it's pretty much right. It's a junk. The name is as janky as the deck. So we're gonna have to get over that. We're gonna start. We'll get to the lands last because they need a lot of work. But we're gonna start one drops. Reckless Rage. Pretty much the only way you can sweep the board with this deck or your main removal are Chupa or Raptor Hatchling. Meaning that Reckless Rage is perfect for getting rid of Kumenas or Flyers, which are the two problematic ones. Also, just killing people with Journey is perfect. I can't tell you how many times. Actually, no, I can't. I think it's 4, where you get the dream scenario of turn 2 Drover, turn 3 play Journey on Drover, and then Reckless Rage the Drover, get him back and flip Journey. Like, that's the ideal play. Other plays is usually just using it on Ranging Rappers to fix your mana, honestly, because you got double greens and double blacks, which in Arena is really difficult because your mana sucks, because no one uses their rare wild cards on, you know, frickin' Rootbound Crag over here. So yeah, those are the main uses for it. It's just a standard in Dino decks, really. It's pretty much buying you time to get Chupa and then activating your range. Level 1 and 1 still in new game. Nice, Spicy. It's gonna be a lot longer, dude. It's gonna be a lot longer. And I can talk to you about that more in detail after the deck tech too. Hey, rude. Looks like I'm a little too reckless in my clicking, and I'm gonna rage about removing this card. There's a pun for you. Okay. So the next one is Drover. He's honestly the most important thing for him is fixing your mana / ramp, because you want to get all these guys out on turn 3. The difference between turn 3 and turn 4 for these guys is just a world of difference. It's the difference between playing Chupa to kill their Kumena the turn they play it, or playing it after they've drawn 2 cards with Kumena, or pumping their whole team. Like it's that big a deal. So that, and then also like I said, the nut draw play of Reckless Rage. Play him turn 2, turn 3 Journey plus Reckless Rage because you untap with 4 mana. Just so beautiful. Or honestly, you'd be surprised how many times you get beats in with playing turn 3 Raptors and then swinging with Drover. It gets you a fast clock, fixes your mana, just everything you want. Plus, the main way you lose with this deck is getting Ixalan's Binding on your Brontodon. So he lets you play Brontodon turn 3 with 1 mana open to sack it so it doesn't get exiled forever. Because as you can see, if they exile him, we have no way to interact with enchantments or artifacts. So, a little rough. So yeah, he's the bones of the deck, the meat of the deck. Next one we got Dusk Legion Zealot. Pretty much the only card advantage in this deck. I mean, unless you get the engine going, but he's the only one that can like get you out of rough spots, really. He's just another way to, with the stupid algorithm they have running, so many times you're stuck on like 2 lands. So he's really just there to make sure you have 8 cards, because 8 cards is like, I forget what the math is. I think it's like 80% chance you have one of them in your hand. So you always want one of these in your opening hand to be able to make sure you hit your 3rd land drop and get these 3 or 4 drops in play. Also, he's a great target for Journey. Sometimes this guy's a little hard to kill once you have another Dino in play. So having these 8, make sure you have something that's easy to kill with Journey on it. So guys, we got percentages, we ran the numbers, solid. Because if you really want to see something every single game, you have 8 copies. So we have these 8 for mana fixing, and we have these 8 for dying to Reckless Rage / Journey. So it's beautiful. Great chumper as well. Raptor Hatchling he's really impressed me. I'm gonna say shout out to Ninja. I saw his deck tech on Naya Dinosaurs, and I didn't realize how good this guy was until I saw him paired with Forerunner, and holy cow. Because before, I was freaking Soul Remains. Oh, you'll be fine, Vines. You'll be fine. Oh, man, you're making me want to play Demon Souls. Before I was running Fiery Cannonade in my original deck before I had, you know, these guys unlocked, because uncommons were rough. Now with the recent patch, it's been a lot easier. And with more, vault opens, it's been a lot more affordable, and just more time, really. So yeah, this is a much better Fiery Cannonade. The reason being that it leaves you behind a 3/3. It can enrage any other enraged dudes that are left on. It's 2 separate triggers as well. Fiery Cannonade was 1 trigger, so you're getting 2 cards or fetching up 2 lands, which is crazy. And you pretty much have 7 copies. Kind of. Because these guys can get you these guys, but these guys can't get you these guys. So effectively, you have the same number of copies of Fiery Cannonade you'd be running, but with so much more upside. Plus, it's a Fiery Cannonade you can get back with Journey, and it can trigger Journey. Like, Hatchling does work, dude. I've been thinking about running 3, because more often times than not, you want to just fetch them up with Forerunner. However, it's also good if you're reversing any sort of flyer with 3 toughness, and you already used your Reckless Rage on another one or something. You want to be able to sweep for 3, so it's honestly good enough that you want to be able to play Hatchling on turn 2 or turn 3, and then play Forerunner and then fetch a Hatchling, so you have 1 in hand. So you have 1 in the battlefield, 1 in hand. You play 1, you trigger, they both die, deal 1 damage to anything. They both get back their 3/3s, then they trigger twice and do 2 more damage to everything. So it's really important to be able to do that against flyer decks when you can't hit your Chupa or your Reckless Rage. It can be very problematic if you don't find those. So yeah, Hatchling, also he's just a good early blocker. And like I said, triggers Journey to Eternity. He has really impressed me. So shout out to Ninja for turning me on to Raptor Hatchling, because it has paid off marvelously. Next we got Journey to Eternity, which people are still sleeping on this. I mean, I talked Shaolin into getting 1 copy. Shout out to Shaolin_CB, by the way, check him out. Him and Ninja both. Journey is, honestly, it's kind of just like a pet card. You could probably make this, oh no, okay, never mind. You can make this deck a little more streamlined without it, I think, but the thing with Dinos is you run out of steam, I feel like. So the problem I was seeing with even Ninja's deck tech, or I was running early red-green Dinos just to unlock other cards because I was getting really pushed into that early on, and you run out a lot of steam if they have removal for your key cards. So in my control decks, I run Jeskai Control, which I do actually have a deck tech for in my highlights, so you can go check that out. Pretty much all I would need is a Lightning Strike or Fiery Cannonade, and I'd kill their Drover or Otepic Huntmaster, sometimes a 2-for-1, and then it'd be, you know, without that mana fixing or that ramp, they'd be getting Ripjaws and stuff. Their main threat's out like turn 4, turn 5, and by that point I have, like, you know, Search for Escanta or a Primal Amulet or both, and then it's really just you play 1 Ixalan's Binding, they have an empty board, you flip your Thematic Compass, and then you win. Like, if I'm in control and I flip my Thematic Compass, and I have more than, like, 1 card in hand, I feel confident that I'm going to win the game. So Journey gives them a little extra pressure. It's a little bit more awkward for them to tap out. If they tap out, they're just done for. It gives you that long game. Plus, the problem with Forerunner is, in the same way that if you kill their key cards, so like, let's say they play Forerunner and you have like a pretty wide board, they put Raptor Hatchling on the top right. If you have a kill spell, they literally just spent like one of the best fetching opportunities to get a 2-mana 1/1. You know, so it feels really bad. And even worse, you don't want to sweep the board for 3, which sometimes you really need to, because then he'll die. So this allows you to kill him without any problems. You can sweep the board for however much you want. You can trigger 3 land drops with Raptors, no problem, because you don't care, you're just gonna get them back. It's really the engine of the deck that lets you be kind of careless in the way you use your resources, but in all the best ways. So yeah, it lets you really take advantage of Forerunner, because playing Forerunner fetching up Ripjaw, because they almost always kill him the first time. They're like, oh, okay, well, I gotta keep him off his card draw. So then you could play Ripjaw, which buys you enough time to get enough mana to bring him back with Journey. And then you get to play Raptor Hatchling with him out, because you bring him back, fetch up Raptor Hatchling, and then you get Ripjaw Raptor twice. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've done that play, but it's every time. They kill him on the spot, and the next turn you play Journey on your Dusk Legion Zullet or something you played, and then Reckless Rage or something, like, so often. And it allows you to fetch your Raptor Hatchlings from the graveyard, which is so important, because then that means you can just kind of sweep the board whenever you want, trigger and rage whenever you want. This card to me, is what makes this deck consistent, because the mana fixing comes into play a lot too. It just makes the deck have legs. Otherwise, you just, because usually you go, you know, 3 lands in hand. So turn 2 Drover, turn 3 one of these guys. So that's what, you probably have like 2 or 3 cards in hand. Maybe play a Ranging Raptors and then a Bronzodon. So if they kill him and your Raptor, you're just left with these 3 dudes and they have 1 good blocker. You're out, and then you're knocking on the top of your deck. So Journey to me is just keeping people on their toes. It's just beautiful. I just can't say enough good things about this card. People know you could make a better deck without it, maybe, but for me, this is perfect. Ranging Raptors is pretty much your fix for the broken mana. That's what everyone plays it as. It lets you go aggro by attacking in for 3 with Drover, same with Raptor Hatchling, if you're versing like a slower deck. So it lets you get in for beats. It makes attacking awkward for your opponent, because, you know, we're running 23 lands, so effectively these 8 and kind of Journey are filling in for us going, usually with this kind of curve you'd want 25-ish lands. So these guys are all kind of filling in for that, these 12 right here. So Raptors does that. The mana fixing is the most important, because double green and double black is really hard to hit consistently by turn 4 or turn 5. So he does work. Just another enrage target for Raptor Hatchling 2. And honestly, I can't tell you, sometimes you just gotta thin out your deck. Like, you can ramp enough that you thin out your deck so you just have a higher probability of getting your Chupas or your Raptors. Because the one thing, if Chupa was a dinosaur, this deck would be unbeatable. Right now, the only things that can beat it are like really fast tempo. It's like Merfolk going wide, because you can't kill their Lords or Kumena right away. For instance, if they have a Lord out and then play Kumena, it's kind of hard to kill that Kumena because Reckless Rage doesn't do the work anymore. And then you can't just sweep with Raptor Hatchling. Sweep with Raptor Hatchling. So Chupa is super important to be able to get to him. So that's why we have Ripjaw Raptors, to be able to draw to him, because we can't fetch him. And then even better, we'll get to that when Chupa's here. So yeah, Raptors are just more mana fixing, ramp, all that stuff. Ramp's important, because 5 mana to activate this is no joke. On the other side, I guess I'll pull up the other side for those who don't know. We got Atzel. There he is. So yeah, it taps for 1 mana of any color, mana fixing, or you can pay 5 and tap it. So effectively 6 lands you need to be able to bring a dude back. So yeah, that ramp is super important. Alright, Thrashing Bronzodon is just a bro of the highest degree. I don't even know where to begin. 3 mana, 3/4 just puts to a complete halt most strategies. For vampires, they need 2 lords to be able to hit through it, or lord and the 2 mana 1/1 that becomes a 3/1. You can give him indestructible. I forgot his name. That guy with a lord, sure. But I mean, any dinos, even against dinos, they're early threats like Drover or Ranging Raptors, they'll die. Ripjaw Raptor and Charging Monster are really the only ones that cause problems. So yeah, 3 mana 3/4. The body is no joke. It's a huge deal. But more importantly, killing artifacts and enchantments. People are starting to get more cards, so you see a lot more Primal Amulets, Search for Kantas. I've been running to a ton of Vance's Blasting Cannons recently. I saw a pretty sweet Revel and Riches deck that was running that. So he's really important for those types of things, because, you know, he's our only removal for that way. So yeah, if they can answer your Journey to Eternity and then they have an engine going, you're kind of screwed, so you try to just keep things fair. Also, a huge deal, you have, if you play him on turn 3 and you have no Reckless Rage, no Forerunners, no nothing to sort of kill your dude that has Journey on it, you can play him turn 3. Turn 4, you play Journey to Eternity, you pay 1, sack him, targeting Journey to Eternity. Journey goes in the graveyard, so that then his trigger of trying to destroy it fizzles. They both come back, Journey to Eternity is transformed, or even if they have an artifact or enchantment, then you just get to kill theirs and then you come back. So he's really important. He's the other 4. Like I said, guys, the math is important. We have 8 cards that can pretty much transform Journey by themselves. Reckless Rage is quite literally not by itself, but you know what I mean. So yeah, we have 8 creatures. Well, I guess more of, I'll say these 8 consistently can transform it. These 8 creatures. And then we have these 8 sort of effects that can transform Journey to Eternity. So really good. Just, we're going straight hard with the numbers, trying to be as consistent as possible. So beautiful, this guy. He does work. Also, the only other thing, the Anthem effects in Vampires, they like to run that 2 and white enchantment that pumps all their dudes and can give them vigilance. That thing's no joke. So killing that is a huge deal as well. I'm trying to think. Legion's Landing. He comes in play a lot more than you'd expect. So I was running him as a 3 of, and honestly, even being able to fetch him with him, I liked a 4 of. I really did like a 4 of. So yeah, he does work. Next up, Forerunner of the Empire, and holy cow. I thought, here's the thing. In a shell that's not like this, I kind of don't like him that much. The reason being, you can't sweep for more than 2 damage. And you don't want to chump block with him, because otherwise his effective fetching up a dino isn't that great. Like I said, if you fetch up a raptor hatchling, or a Ripjaw raptor, or like ranging raptors, and then they kill him, he doesn't put you up a card because it goes on top of your library. So you're pretty much just trading him for another dinosaur, which in that case you'd rather just run another dinosaur in the deck. But being able to pick which one's important is... Being able to pick which one based on how important they are in the matchup is good, but oftentimes playing him, he's weak against tempo decks, which is what dinos is usually... You know, this longer game brand of dinos is usually bad against. But now you get to even just chump block with him and then bring him back with Journey anyway, and you're like, yeah, I'm happy to just get another dino to fetch up. Like, that's totally fine. So all the things that usually make him bad are now great, now thanks to Journey to Eternity. Because now you get to exploit him a lot more by bringing back the other dinos for multiple triggers. And then if he dies, you just get to bring him back with Journey anyway. So if they kill him to get rid of your engine, you still have all your threats on the board. If they kill all your threats to leave him on the board, you just fetch him back with Journey. It's a lose-lose. I pretty much always say, if I untap with him, still on the battlefield, I win. Like, 90% of the time. So if they don't, like, exile him right away or anything like that, they're pretty much done for. So let's see, next one is Ravenous Chupacabra. The man, the myth, the legend. He's what you need to... He's pretty much what you have, along with Reckless Rage, to get rid of everything your deck's bad against. So the major lords, if they get multiple lords, it's harder to sweep the board. Kumena with any sort of pump. Reckless Rage is pointless then. Flyers, there's that 2-1 with Raid that becomes a 2-3 flyer if you attacked with the creature. So that guy's kind of hard to kill without it. Plus, Chupa is recurring, right? Reckless Rage, so we have a recurring way to sweep the board for things with 2, sometimes 3 power or less, with Raptor Hatchling, right? But otherwise, Reckless Rage is a recurring way to kill their bigger threats. So that's where Chupacabra comes in, because we can fetch him back with Journey. Also, important to note, he has 2 toughness. So there have been games where it's gone long, you know, they have like that land that can kill your non-basics. Field of Ruin? Yeah, Field of Ruin. So I got Journey flipped, and then they top deck Field of Ruin, kill it, whatever. And then it's late enough in the game that I have him out and Raptor Hatchling. So I have a Chupacabra on the board, and then I'll just play Journey and Raptor Hatchling. You know, put them all back. I sweeped all their low 2 power and toughness or lower, and then Chupacabra kills the last big dude, so he's a big deal. He's a big deal. He's the type of artillery you need. Next we got Ripjaw Raptor. He's important because drawing cards is oftentimes more important than being able to fetch up lands and stuff. Because you can't fetch Chupacabra. So just wanting to get one of these guys to clear the board to bring him back to fetch up your silver bullets doesn't always get you there. Plus you want to be able to draw to another Eternity. Chupacabra! That's right, Wisely. You ready? Here, I'll pull him up for you. I almost searched Wisely. Oh wait, no, it's a Ravenous. Ravenous? Here he is, Wisely. Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? What a guy, right? So yeah, Ripjaw Raptor is a way to dig for your Journey to Eternity mostly, or your Reckless Rage. Because once you have your engine going, you can fetch any dinosaur you want, really. But also that 4/5 body is so important, so important. And for like the other enraged dudes, they're not good at attacking, they're good at blocking. You ever Googled Chupacabra? Yeah, dude, it's crazy. This is they knew what they're. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but yeah, they look a little crazy. I know, because they're in like that Mayan, I want to say, mythology and stuff. Yeah, they're something else. But yeah, that 4/5 body is super important, and it makes it really awkward because all their other enraged threats aren't really good at attacking. You know, this is 2 damage, 1 damage. They can let that through. But Ripjaw Raptor is like a 5-turn clock. So you attack with him, and they're like, I don't know whether to block or not, because if I chump, it can make things a lot worse for me. If I kill him, he'll just bring it back with Journey as a blocker. So it's like they have to let him through and then try to go wide while he's tapped. But then, you know, you have active Journey and stuff, so they're not going to be able to do that. So he just puts them in a really awkward situation. I don't think you need more than 2, to be honest. More often than not, I'm fetching up Raptor Hatchling or Ranging Raptors to fix my mana, to ramp, to sweep the board and stuff. But Ripjaw Raptor is just, he's always there when you need him. You never hate having him, but sometimes he's not exactly what you need. So, yeah, he's perfect. But it's really easy to get both of them out. If you don't know what kind of deck your opponent's playing, or don't know, like, you're going to need to sweep the board, I almost always just fetch him with Forerunner, and it's almost never a bad choice. So, yeah. Next we got one Verdant Sun's Avatar. This slot, I think, is a flex slot. I've been trying to debate what I'd rather have here. I almost ran... I don't remember. Card text. Trying to remember. It's the giant red dinos. This one. I didn't get to try it yet, but I almost kind of wanted to run him because he's really good in stalemates. I mean, Raptor Hatchling's kind of good too, but he seems like it'd be kind of fun. I just wanted... There's not really a really good way to gain life. I was running Argyll's Bloodfast, but you have to get so low that, like, you're already bad against go wide decks, so to get down to 5 to be able to transform it to attack your dudes. Once it transforms, it's super powerful, but getting there without dying is really difficult. So I kind of wanted a Verdant Sun's Avatar just to be able to fetch up a Forerunner, because turning the corner, you're often, against tempo decks, you're often at, like, anywhere from, like, 4 to 8 life. So, like, 1 flyer or, like, 1 kind of blowout play, and you're kind of screwed. So that's why he's there right now, but I don't know. I just couldn't think of anything better for him right now. I'm just going to continue testing. Changes I would make. Oh, the mana base. I obviously want 4 Dragon Skull summons. I'm lucky enough to have 4 Rootbound Crag. One of them disappeared, apparently. Rootbound? Excuse me? Oh, right, it's not Rick's, I guess. There we go. Is that 60 now? 59. How many lands? 23. What did I accidentally get rid of? Oh no. Well, that's weird. Maybe I had 4. I don't know. Oh no, it's a 60. Okay, cool. So yeah, you want 4 Dragon Skull summons. The mana is not bad if you get the cards for it. Like, there's an opportunity for it to be really good, but it's rare that you'll get them. Usually you get more like Sun Petal Groves and stuff. But wait, is Dragon Skull Summon in? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'm so dumb. But yeah, it's rough to get the double black, so I like mainly black basics because you're usually just need 1 and then you fetch them up with the rest with Ranging Raptors because you only have 3 Chupas anyway. You'd be surprised how much you need black mana though. With the 4, and then I think I run 4 Chupas, 3 or 4, and then 4 Journey to Eternity. That's a lot of black mana. You'd be surprised. And then you obviously need a ton of green, ton of red. So 4 Rootbound Crag is a must-have. I run the 2 Foul Orchards. 1 Evolving. I used to run Unclaimed Territory because I thought it'd be good. You know, it's like a good 3/4 of the deck is Dinos, but it's actually really important. Evolving Wilds has been much better. Like every game I've played where I'm like, if this Evolving Wilds was an Unclaimed Territory, I would have lost. Like that's happened consistently. So this one Evolving Wilds does work. But if you copy this mana base, it'll get you there. This deck has like probably like a 70% win rate. Against Esper Control is our worst matchup because they have so many exile effects. The one thing I liked about, oh, I haven't done a deck on that, but my other Journey decks, we have Instant Speed Sacrifice. So Settle the Wreckage you can actually play around. But, you know, if they exile both your Ripjaw Raptors and, you know, kill your Verdant Sun's Avatar, then you're only attacking in for like a max of like 3 to 5 damage per turn pretty much. Because all your dudes have like 2-ish power. Between 1 and 3 power. So, yeah, that matchup's super rough. But against Merfolk, if you're on the play, you're fine. Otherwise, if they get 2 Lords out, you're kind of screwed, or a Kamena and a Lord. Then you need Chupa, like, fast, like that turn. What did your Platinum run? Did you only do Shards, Chunks, or also Bossels? Just Shards and Chunks. Oh, wait, no, I did Bossels for the Magic and the Miracles, wisely. But I didn't do it to, like, get easy level ups and stuff. Yeah. Sorry, Wisely. Can't be the role model you deserve. Yeah, so Merfolk's kind of like a 50-50, really. If you're on the play, it's like a 55 or 60-ish. I'd say on the draw it's a 40, on the play it's a 60, so on average it's a 50-50. That's what I'll say. Esper Control, it's like a 30. 35. Just because Settle the Wreckage, Ixalan's Binding, all that stuff is just such a pain in the butt. On Flyers, if you're on the play, it's like a 60 or 70. Because you can pretty consistently sweep the board, and they don't run a lot of removal, they just plan on invasion. But against the blue Flyers, if they're running Lookout's Dispersal, it can be kind of rough. That's like a 50-50. I'm trying to think what else. Against Dinos, you're golden. This is an amazing deck against Dinos. If they're on the play, maybe they have a 50 or 40% chance. Like, if you're on the play and you have a decent hand, you win like 80-90% of those games. Because you have Journeyman. They run out, I can't tell you how many times. It's like turn 4 and they have 1 card in hand. Meanwhile, I have like a Drover, a Ranging Raptors, and a flipped Journey. And they're just sitting there like, well, I can't attack, but it's getting worse for me. So Dinos is like an amazing matchup. Black-Green Explorer is an amazing matchup. If they get Vraska's Contempt on the exact right turn, you can be kind of rough, but you can play around that usually, because their clock isn't that fast, so usually you can just play around it. Yeah, I'm trying to think what other matchups there are. Other controls like 50-50, because if you flip Journey, you can usually beat them. It's just the ones, Esper, because it has Hostage Taker, Settle the Wreckage, Ixalan's Binding, Vraska's Contempt. Those are potent threats against you. But the ones that usually have, you know, either or, like either Ixalan's Binding or Vraska's Contempt, like you can usually win those, especially Ixalan's Binding, because if you just don't let them get your Brontodon, and then you can just, you know, you'll get them later. You have 4 and 3 ways to fetch them, so you'll get there eventually. So yeah, this is the deck, guys. It's beautiful, right? Just was excited to share this deck with you all. I got to see a tiny bit of Shaolin stream where he was doing Junt good stuff. And I was trying to get that deck to work, but it was just too janky. So I think with the Dinos and all the synergies of Dinos, you can get away with the janky mana base and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the deck tech. We should go ahead and move on to some let's go ahead and move on to, this is saved, right? Yeah. Move on to some duels. We're gonna have to fix this whole